What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich here to talk some NBA player props over on PrizePicks for Friday, December 2nd. We got a pretty big slate today, lots of star players that I will be talking about today. And this is a bit of an early look, so tap back in a little bit later for around 5 o'clock Eastern time when I will drop my final plays and the core plays for the day. I do like a lot of these plays though, so I'm probably going to be betting them early. So if you do like them, feel free to take them. But as always, these picks are free. Manage your bankroll and drop us a like and subscribe if you do appreciate them. Let's get into the intro.
For all the high-flying action, take a step back and relax. It's time to count that money, the NBA props. No look any further. You know what time it is. Presented by PrizePicks, NBA props. Let's
count that money, man. So I said we're going to be talking about some stars, and of course, how could I be talking about stars if I don't start off talking about Franz Wagner? Love Franz Wagner, but no, we will start right at the top of the list. We're going to start with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Love Giannis. The biggest thing here is that his line is not on PrizePicks right now, but I did want to highlight it because it is 31.5 right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, minus 125 to the over. And the biggest thing with Giannis is you see what he's done over his past 5 games, 36 plus points each of the last 5. But versus the Lakers, you see that number right there? 45.5 points. This was last season. He played 2 games against the Lakers, dropped 47 and 44 points. So clearly Giannis likes to play up when he does play the Lakers. So it is a play that I am considering, even though it is pretty high at 31.5 right now. You see what he did to the Lakers each of the last 2 games last season, and I'm like, damn, like maybe AD can slow him down a little bit, but I don't know if AD is going to slow him down that much. Giannis is a guy that just gets it done no matter who he's playing against. That's why he's 2-time MVP, one of the best players in the league. So I think you got to consider Giannis. It seems high, but against the Lakers, I think he can get it done. If you want to target the points and rebounds, that's another one that is decent, and he's going to get a ton of rebounds. He always does, and against the Lakers should be very easy to do. So let's talk about another play in Kyle Kuzma. His points, assists, and rebounds have been a pretty good play over the past few days. If you look at the consistency here, he's been averaging around 39.2, 37.6 minutes a game, standard deviation of around 4. The line is 33.5, which sounds a little high for Kuzma, but the opponent allowed rate is pretty good for Charlotte. We know that they can give up rebounds. We know that Kuzma is a guy who can facilitate at times. If you look at his consistency here, he's been going over 40 each of the last 5 games before the game against Brooklyn, and he still hit 32 in that one. I think it's another great spot for him. You see against Charlotte last game, he put up 43. So a great line for Kuzma for a guy who has been playing very well. Beal has been, spotty at times, and Kuzma has really taken the lead in some regard to score, facilitate, and of course, a very active rebounder. So I do like Kuzma quite a bit in this one. He will probably end up being a core play for me. I don't think this line moves a ton, but it may move a little bit. 34.5 is pretty steep for Kuzma, but I think at 33.5, it is pretty good value, and I would be willing to take it. Now, I was also looking at another player. Look at me pulling up golf for y'all, but I was looking at Franz Wagner, and I think that Franz Wagner's points is starting to get to the point where you almost have to take it. I know that Paolo is back, and there's a little bit of concern there, but he's playing Cleveland today, and Cleveland's front court is really good. Evan Mobley has been playing at an extremely high level, but you see what he's been doing over the past 5 games, averaging over 20 points a game. Paolo being back hasn't really fazed him at all, 22 points, 21 points. So I think this is another great spot for Franz. I think he's been a player that I've been targeting for a little while, but at 17.5, I think it's just kind of a spot where it's too low. I see it's a little bit juiced to the under right now on the books, but that, I don't know, man. Like it's really the only red flag for me. Everything else makes sense. He's scoring 20 points, standard dev only 2. So, his variance is pretty low. So he's been scoring very consistently, as you've seen from his last 5 data. It's just peculiar. Every time I see a line like this, I'm starting to think, well, why did they drop it so low? Do they know something that I don't know? The defensive matchup is fine. They allow, around 20 points or so to small forwards. Paolo will do his thing. And, Paolo's points are under 20. And of course, when they're under 20, I'm always looking at those. But it's one that I'm probably going to be thinking on a little bit. It's just, I don't know. It's a peculiar line. It's a little bit lower. Still, he's averaging 20 points. Like, I think it's one that you can take and be pretty happy with. Like I talked about Paolo here, 19.5 points. They're allowing 29.5. I think it's a fine spot for both of them. Whenever you get them, Paolo under 20 and Franz under 18, both are great spots. I mean, you see Paolo right here, juiced to the over, minus 135, projected for around 22. I mean, everybody loves Paolo. I love Paolo too. I think it's one that you would consider playing, but I think that Franz is equally in consideration because both are great targets. So no matter which one you want to go after, I think both are in great spots. Orlando will probably put up points against Cleveland. I don't think they get blown out by any stretch, but we'll see. It could happen, but both those guys have been very active scorers and playing very, very well. You see they're scoring right around that mark, and then I can pull up Paolo for you here. Let's pull up old Paolo. 19.5. Yeah, he was 20.5 last game. Still scored 20, so he pretty much got there. So it is a little bit surprising to see him only at 19.5. But if they're willing to give it to me, I will happily take it. But last but not least, I want to get into Jayson Tatum, because Jayson Tatum has been on a freaking tear lately. I think the line I've highlighted here and the one I will be targeting most is the rebounds and assists. It's minus 125 on DraftKings right now, 33.5 versus Miami. Coming off a game where he dropped 52 versus Miami, right? Last game on November 30th. So Tatum is hot right now. He had 8 threes in that game. I believe, what was his points, rebounds, assists in that game? He went off 63, so he had another 11 rebounds on top of that. I just love Tatum. It's hard not to like him. You see, he dropped 50 points, scoring over 30 a game for the season. He's scoring around 27. Last 10, 32.1. Last 5, 35.8. Obviously, a lot of that is buoyed by the 49, but he still scored 37, still scored 30 in 4 straight games. His line right now for points is only 29.5, so if you like that, it's not a bad line. I think I do prefer the points and assists, because you're only asking him to get 4 assists, and we know that he can get many more than that. So for me, I think this is probably the highest edge of a line. You see that the Miami defense is ranked 21st in assists allowed, so I do like that as well. And as you see, coming from the model, they are, 7th in the NBA, allowing points and assists to opposing small forwards. So that is a great spot for Tatum. Obviously, with the hot streak he's been on, I'm definitely willing to play some Jayson Tatum, and so I do like that one quite a bit. There is Anthony Davis here. The rebound number, 11.5, kind of piqued my interest at first, and then you see it's juiced to the under. And then I went and looked at Anthony Davis's game log versus Milwaukee, and it's not good. He hasn't had double-digit rebounds against them in like 3 of the past 4 games, or maybe even 4 straight games. So it's not one I'm necessarily targeting, but if you like Anthony Davis, it could be a line that I think is fair, right? We've seen it 12.5 quite a bit, so 11.5 now, a bit of a discount, but, Brook Lopez is going to be active. Giannis will be super active. LeBron will probably get super active playing against Giannis, kind of get up to play this game. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but Anthony Davis at 11.5 rebounds looks good in the model. It's just, is he necessarily going to get there? I don't know. I mean, he had enough rebound. I think he had 13 rebounds last game, so it's not like he's not hitting this number consistently. He has been for sure, but it was definitely one that was kind of like, Anthony Davis, 11.5 rebounds. You see, 5 for 5. Doing it every game. Against Portland, so we had 12 rebounds, 13 against Indiana. Both those games are with LeBron back, so it's not like his rebounding has dipped a ton, but yeah, obviously his games without LeBron, he was phenomenal and rebounding a lot, so they're bringing his numbers down a little bit. Brook Lopez rebounds are, they're okay. I mean, Giannis' rebounds is really the one where you could consider taking it, but it's the points. It's the points, man. The points is the one you want. He's just been on fire versus the Lakers. So difficult to fade a line like that. It just looks too good to be true. But that's pretty much it that I'm looking at right now. The other play I was looking at was Zach LaVine's rebounds and assists. Surprisingly, I'll pull that up on Props Like Cash right now for you guys, but it was at 8.5 last night, and it's probably still there, to be honest. But one I believe he's hit in each of his last 5 games. Yeah, averaging 10 or getting 10 or 11. Good matchup against the Warriors. You see it's minus 140 on the books. You see there is one game here. He only had 3.5, or he had 1 rebound assist, but that's okay. I'll let it slide. He's playing much better this season. I think that he's been doing a much better job at getting these rebounds and assists. See the consistency, 7, 8, 8, 9, and then obviously 10, 10, 10, 10, 11. Rebounds versus other teams. Golden State's not the best rebounding team. As long as Zach is active, he will get that. And he has been diving people up. You see 5 assists each of the last 5 games. And in the rebounds, same situation, around 5 rebounds each of the last 5 games. So as long as he gets 5 rebounds, 5 assists, he's right. He's going to be right around there for you. And all he has to do is get to 9. He doesn't even have to get you the full 10, but has been doing that at a very consistent level. So I do like that quite a bit. LaVine is one that I did take on the books a little bit earlier. I don't know if PrizePicks will give it to us, but I did see it on the books earlier, and so I did want to point that out to you guys. But that's it for me. As always, if you tail gets PrizePicks, hell, and if you fail, do not bail. I will drop the core plays later tonight. As you can see, you probably got a feel for the ones that I am really liking. Tatum is one that I really, really love. Giannis is a line I'm probably going to take. I don't know if I'm taking the Orlando guys, and I do like Kyle Kuzma quite a bit. And then, like I mentioned, the Zach LaVine, I've already bet on the books a couple times. So those are kind of ones I'm liking right now. Not necessarily core plays yet, but they're pretty much there. So I will finalize the actual core plays a little bit later today based off of what I want to talk about and what I talked about today. I may do another video. We'll see. Depends how much time I have, but wanted to get this to you guys early. So here's your early look for the NBA slate for tonight. Good luck, everyone, and I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.